What's going on, YouTube? Last delivery of the 2022 season wood. So I've been selling all my softwood that I've been having a hard time to sell over the years. I've had this wood for about 3 years, so this is down to my last. And I got a little bit of hardwood over here. This sugar maple just came in like maybe 2-3 weeks ago. And you can see it's nice and dry. So even the little bit of moisture that was in it, it's probably dried by now. It has been damp, it has been raining, but it still is good to go. I thought I had enough to sell $100 worth of wood, but I don't. I thought these crates were more full, so it's probably going to be $100 for the total delivery. But I do want to go in my container over here because I think that there may be some wood on the shelf. Honestly, I'm thinking there's not really any there at all, because I did take a bunch out of here. But usually when I go in here it's dark, so I'm not really scouting it out when I go here. Let's take a tour of Smoker City while we're here. So we got this crate that's almost full of apple. This is my cherry, this is my oak, and this is my sugar maple. So I'm just checking the dryness of the sugar maple here because my customer with the smokehouse has been buying quite a lot of wood. I have a bunch of wood at the shop drying. Yeah, this is getting dry. Yeah, I have a bunch of wood over at the shop, and I'm drying it on my wood stove and on shelves. The amount of wood that I have at my shop will probably last me about a month before I got to start coming into this crate and bagging it up and bringing it over to him. So yeah, this seems like it's getting there. I think there's some really dry stuff in here too. Now some of these pieces you could feel that they're heavier than others, but like these smaller ones, they are relatively dry. So I guess in a month's time when I gotta sell these, that they're going to be better than this. It's going to be freezing cold as of next week. Today is January the 21st. It's going to get nice and cold, so that actually helps the drying process. When it's mild like this and it's humid out, the wood doesn't dry that well. Let's see. Okay, I do have some. So time to get the wheelbarrow. Okay, and one more wheelbarrow. There's not much pieces left in there, maybe about 8, maybe 10, but that's good enough. That'll be an extra $20. So I guess overall, instead of selling them $150 worth of wood, 50's for the delivery, and I was going to go down to 100 with what I have there, I'll go to 120, maybe even 110. We'll see when we get this in the truck. Okay, let's get loaded up. Do have a couple pieces of cherry that I threw into the truck, and there's a piece of honey locust and a piece of ash that I brought over to the shop for my own stash. Alright, that looks more like a load. What I had in there before didn't look like much at all. Okay, so I just did a little bit of battening down of the hatches here. We're supposed to get maybe up to 5 centimeters of snow tomorrow. So that's about an inch and change. So what I did was I went and unplugged all the electrical cords. I put them under the totes so that, you know, they don't get the rain and the snow inside. I put it up here so it's not in the ground, and then next thing you know it melts and then it freezes, and then the cords are stuck in the ground. And the wheelbarrows are okay. I don't mind if you get anything in there. You can hammer it out even if it freezes, but if it melts, I got holes drilled in them so that they could drain out. The cover's been on so far and nothing's really sitting on the ground. Obviously the wood can be a problem, but what can you do, right? So even the bins that I have with all the crap in it, I just tip them on their side so that you can't have any moisture get in. Even better. Yeah, I've been having problems with this tripod, but I think I know what I'm going to do. Let me show you guys here. I just need some glue Well, first of all, the top piece has come off. It's another one that has this piece here, but it's cork on top and it's come off. So I got to find that. It might be in the Tahoe. I don't think it's in the work truck, but it was there one day and then it was gone the next. Well, my problem here is this little sleeve on the inside here, it falls out. So I think if I glue it in place, it's going to be okay where it is, because it goes up and down. The top piece that stops it from going down and through has broken off. You could see that it just slid out. I just popped it back into place. Just going to tighten it up so that it stays there. So I've learned how to work with it even though it's busted. So I was unhappy with this thing breaking right there when I first got it, pretty much, but now I can figure it out. It'll be okay as long as it's hassle-free. I don't care what it looks like or if it's busted, as long as I can work with it hassle-free. That's the thing. All right, let's go to the delivery. All right, I'm just going for a cheap fuel on the way, and I was looking at the clouds to the west as I was heading west, and I thought it was looking like snow clouds. And I can't really back up why I thought that, but it's just a hunch. And then sure enough, we're getting a little bit of snow now, so it's already started. Okay guys, here we are at the drop. I'm in Midtown Toronto, and we're just off, not too far from the main street, Yonge Street, which is like the center dividing line. Yonge Street's also the longest street in the world. It's kind of a busy area. I'll tell you a story about something that happened with someone in this area. Customer doesn't want to be filmed. They don't want to have their house filmed either, so I'm just going to put the camera behind the truck and show the delivery, but that's how I do it naturally anyway. How you doing?
Good, Anthony. How are you?
Good, thanks.
Roger.
Nice to meet you. Yeah, let's get this thing set up. I think I can back up a bit more too. I got some room. So I filmed my entire firewood process.
You do?
And I upload it to YouTube. Yeah. A lot of fun getting to know people in the firewood community around the world, you know. It's mostly people in the Midwest. A lot of interesting characters. A lot of things learned from everybody, you know what I mean? Yeah. Good circle of people.
You know, until recently, we've been going to Florida every year on the West Coast.
Oh yeah.
And everybody there's from Wisconsin and Minnesota, and
oh, yeah.
Culturally it's almost the same as Toronto.
Okay. Well, it's the same like when you go up north here. Everybody grew up in the city. Not everybody, but I mean, so many people are from the city, right? I'm going to charge you less than the price I gave, because they didn't have as much. Okay. But I actually found a little bit more hardwood than I thought that I had. So we'll make it $120.
So is there still a lot of ash around from when all those ash trees died a few years ago?
No, they came and they went. Yeah. And I started the business when the ash trees were really getting cut down. Yeah. So I just had endless supply of ash, you know? Okay. All right, thanks a lot.
Okay, thank you, Anthony.
Yeah, no problem. Okay, so what I gave you was, most of this is pine and spruce, like I said.
Yeah.
All this barkless stuff is sugar maple, good hard maple.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of branches like this. That's actually sugar maple. I'm surprised this is even in this load, because this is my softer stuff. Yeah. There's a little bit of willow, and there is a couple pieces of juniper, which burns even better than the pine. So I just made sure I give you enough so that it's worth your money, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the thing. I explained to your wife that yes, you'll hear you got to have hardwood, but as long as the softwood is dry. But the key reason why you use hardwood is because you have to use so much wood to burn. So you have to have a certain amount of volume to burn. So if you have hardwood, it's less work to load the wood. That's the only principle, really, right? Yeah. But this is, I never really sell this. I haven't sold this. It's been sitting around for 3 years because I don't have the camping customers. I don't have the backyard burning customers. So I've actually managed to sell all of it this year. So that's a pretty good thing. It's finally gone, you know. This is the last of everything that I have, so yeah.
Yeah, well, it's end of January already anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Okay, my friend.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, enjoy. So there it is, guys. Last delivery of the 2022 season. And I'm done till next year. Unless I get lucky and I get some dry wood. Okay, this site here where they're doing construction, I guarantee you $1 billion they're building a condo here. Because that's what they do in this city. They need housing like crazy, but they're just building condos all over. But anyways, let me get on with that story. So, there was a guy who was a serial killer, and what he was doing was he was attracted to men and he was luring men into his condo, and he was I guess he was torturing them and he was murdering them, and there was a number of people, there was a number of men that went missing, and they couldn't figure out what was going on. So they finally caught up with this guy, and the police were watching him for a while, but they already had incidents of this guy I guess subduing people, and the cops were there. The cops were called and they did confront him about it and whatnot, but nothing happened to him. This is a guy who was about, I don't know, maybe 65 or so, something like that, and he was a landscaper. So what this guy was doing was he was taking some of the bodies that he disposed of, he actually disposed on them in a big dig at a customer's house. He was doing some landscaping in the ravine in the back of the house, and he buried the bodies in big planters in the backyard, right? So they had this whole thing where they had to get the tenants to move out, and the police turned it into a crime scene, and they dug out at least a couple bodies out of that area. And when they caught up with him, they actually found him with somebody tied up inside his condo, right? I'm not sure if, I don't think I'll be able to show the condo from here, but it's like a high-rise condo just east of me. I'm heading north now, and it's at the east side of Leaside on my way back to the shop. But yeah, this guy, it was a big story here because we haven't really had any serial killers in the city, you know what I mean? So that was a really big story, guys, and it was in the paper for days and days, and they kept coming up with new trails of evidence about this guy, and then finally it all came out of the bag. So very interesting story. I kind of passed by that house on the way back. Like if I'm coming from downtown and I'm not coming up the highway, then I'll be coming up through one of the roads on Leaside to get there, right? So that was a very fascinating story, what was going on there, because it just kept developing and getting bigger and bigger, and they kept tying more people, more missing people to this guy. His name was Bruce MacArthur. So if you want to go and research it, it's Bruce MacArthur. That's his name. Actually, I have a customer who lives in this area, a bit northeast of me where I am right now, and he would buy a full quart of firewood at a time. He was a real pyromaniac, that guy. And he was actually the former vice president of sales for Maple Leaf Sports and Entertainment. And that's basically the group that oversees the Raptors and the Toronto Maple Leafs, right? He's a real great guy, and I haven't heard from him in years. And me and him, we kicked it off really good, and never had a chance to hang out with him much. I mean, a couple times, but we always thought that we were going to hang out a bit more, you know? But I haven't heard from him. I'm actually going to give him a call and see what's going on, because he's a great guy, you know what I mean? So anyways, I'm just going to head it back to the shop. There's Eglinton Avenue up at the traffic lights up there. And they're actually building a new crosstown light rail system. And it's all underground here. It's underground going through Midtown, and then it gets out into the open on the extreme ends of the city. So out by the shop in that area, it's all above ground, right? And you go a couple miles to the east, and that's where it comes out above ground, and there's the science center there, like the science exhibit center. And I haven't been there in a while either. But lots of science exhibits that they would have. And we used to go there for school trips and whatnot, right? Got ourselves a green light here. And I don't know if you could see the tower. You could see the buildings ahead, but you can see the the communications tower ahead with the red lights on it. That's actually up where the shop is. So I'm just heading back to drop the truck off at the shop, and I'm gonna go to Costco and get some gas and then head home, and it's Saturday night. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, share, comment, and all that good stuff.